Let's talk about some of the technical details and news ahead of the Mexican Grand Prix 2023. First of all, Mexico is a special track because of its high elevation of more than 2,200 meters. That means low air density, and that results in less drag, less downforce, less cooling, and less power. So teams combine their biggest cooling version with their highest downforce setup. That results in cars with lower efficiency, but they're still struggling for grip and have amazing top speed. We could see some interesting shots, and we can discuss a couple of details. At Red Bull, we could see their front assembly with the low torsion bars due to the pull rod suspension. We can also identify the typical Adrian Newey V-shaped chassis cross-section. Also, we see the cooling inlet of the electronics underneath the driver. And we have another great diffuser shot showing lots of little details in the Red Bull diffuser. At Ferrari, we can see how they also use a very rounded chassis underside for better front wing extraction, the highest cooling version, and a rear wing with an extreme gurney angle. McLaren used a very interesting rake to check the oncoming rear wing flow. These probes are aligned to their CFD, so you can get a good idea of the angle of the approaching air. Also, the fixings are interesting with a machined clamp at the pillar and two metal sintered supports. The transducer sits in the wake of the pillar clamp for minimum disturbance. In Mexico, we could see that McLaren is now using less steps in the diffuser, but one large step instead. It seems like teams understand these steps better now, and not the largest amount is the better option. Also, note the differences at the beam wing. As we discussed in my earlier videos, always at high downforce tracks, teams like to use a single beam wing and use the other element to support the rear wing. In contrast to Red Bull, the Mercedes diffuser looks very simple, but they're using the rag box to the full extent and even have a little sharp gurney corner. And Mercedes uses a fan underneath the nose to cool their electronics there. The big news at the beginning of the weekend is that Audi could pull out of their F1 project before starting it. The news came up in Germany because board members said the F1 project isn't fully evaluated and needs to be assessed again. So there's no indication of Audi pulling out at the moment, but it's clear that the internal pressure is pretty high. And this situation is pretty similar to BMW some years ago when they decided for the I project. Half of the company was against it, half of the company was for it. They decided to do it, but that also meant that half of the company didn't like it. Because of internal fights and the lack of support, the people that wanted the project left, and the people who didn't like it in the first place had to deal with it and bring it on the road. The result were the BMW i3 and i8, which started great, but were not that convincing when they came out. Now their production has ended without a successor. If you want to know all about the details on that topic and the strategy problems BMW has today, check out my other video. So Audi is in the same situation now. Half of the company didn't want the F1 project, and the people who wanted it are not there anymore. The whole company has to save more money than ever before, and even small budgets for essential things are being cancelled. On the other hand, they are spending millions on their F1 project, so the internal pressure is pretty high. But on the other hand, it's a great time to join F1 because the sport is booming and teams start earning money. But Audi has cancelled all other motorsport activity, Formula E, WEC, customer racing, and they even let all their works drivers go, just to free budget for F1. And that also means that if they should really pull out now, they have nothing left in motorsports, except the Dakar project, which only happens once per year, with not ideal coverage. So in that case, they could get back to their boring image of the 1970s. So what do you think? Is the Audi F1 adventure worth a try? Let me know in the comments below, and if you are interested in working in F1's aero development, check out my online career Accelerator program. It's an intense 6-week course which helps you to prepare yourself for a career in F1 with CATIA V6 licenses and lots of valuable knowledge you can only get from people who worked in the industry. The first people who finished this course are already working in F1's aero departments, so you could be the next one. Check out the course with the link below and make sure you state that you found the course through my YouTube channel. See you at the next one.